Wow. Wow. I cannot believe the feedback that I got from you guys on the last episode. Amazing. I kind of got it through different things. I got it through the Mid Valley Mercenaries at Gmail. I got it through the MVM show, and crazy. I couldn't believe how much feedback I got. I am thankful for it, and I'm glad you guys support it. And again, what has to be said, what needs to be said is going to be said on this podcast, and I'm going to get more fired up because that is my nature. That's who I am. And I was talking to somebody about it. And I was like, that's not me. Like, just to always sugarcoat and go around things. You got to have tact. You got to do things right and properly in order. And you don't need to go out just bashing anything or anyone. And that's not what it's about. But it is about speaking the truth. The truth. And that's what we want to do on the MVM show. And again, if we're talking about ducks, elk, military, police, politics, vaccines, free choice, free speech, the Constitution, it will be done. And I want to ask you guys a big favor today, right now. Listen to me. Don't turn off. Don't focus on anything else right now. Unless you're driving, of course, you need to focus on the road. But let me say this. I took a lot of notes on the last one, and I'm going to ask you this. I need your guys' help, okay? Please, whether or not you watch YouTube, if you've ever watched in your life, go in and subscribe on YouTube to the MVM show. All you type in the search bar is MVM show, the MVM show. It will take you right to the channel. Click on the channel, little round icon, and hit the subscribe button. And let me tell you why. I don't care if you watch it on YouTube or not. If you'd rather listen on Spotify that you're listening to right now, or iTunes or whatever it is. Here's my reasoning for this. Okay, number one, it's free, so it doesn't matter if you, like I said, if you watch it on there or not. I don't even care, honestly. Even if you don't watch it though, sub and get us to 1,000 subs. Because if we get to 1,000 subs, it can help pay for these podcasts. I'll just let you guys know right now, I don't have any sponsors for this podcast. I don't get paid for this. No one's sponsoring, which is crazy to me, honestly, because of the amount of downloads that I get and the amount of listeners that I have. I've reached out to a few places. We had one that sponsored it for a month. We've had other little things, whatever. You guys hear me mention Heavy Shot and Metal and all them, but they don't really specifically sponsor this podcast. We just like to put the name of people that we truly trust and believe in. But as far as the MBM show on YouTube goes, the reason if I get 1,000 subs on there, and I've never pushed this before ever, guys. I've told you about it, that we have it, but I haven't pushed like, please go do this. I'm asking now, please go subscribe on there. And don't turn notifications off if you don't want to watch it there. I don't care. Get us to 1,000. I know we have enough watch time that people are on there listening or watching to it that we can start making a little bit of money off this and keeping the gear, the mics, the quality of stuff, and just the time. It's all my personal time that I put in this, and because I like it. But I feel like if we push this, if you guys push this, if I push this podcast and get it out to other people, I think a lot of people can be helped, and I really like the community that we have, especially after seeing these emails. Like, well, just let me say a few people, and there's so many that could be mentioned on this. And I'm sorry if I butcher any names. And it is specifically, I have one, his name is Nathan Chymist. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but Chymist. He said, I live in Nova Scotia, Canada, and he said he's had a lot of issues. Things been going on crazy, vaccines being pushed, government officials that should be in power, and the list could go on. Anyways, he said he knew that I was a Christian just by hearing us talk. He is in law enforcement in Canada, and he said he's seen firsthand the mess that's going on. And shout out to you guys that are law enforcement or military dealing with this garbage right now. I am associated with our county's sheriff's department. I am part of it as a pilot. I am not a sworn-in officer, but I am part of the sheriff's department flying their Huey for them. I also am an EMS. I'm an EMS pilot, a helicopter pilot. And so I feel the pain. I was prior military. I'm a veteran. A lot of you guys know that. Anyways, Thank you, Nathan, for the scripture. He said, Psalms 46:10, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. That was just his word of encouragement. So thank you, Nathan, for that. And these were all for this episode 134. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. Let's see. John Reddington said he's been listening for about 3 months. And I'm just saying the names just to kind of give you guys some airtime, just for his thank you for writing in. He said, thanks for taking your stand. Encouraging to hear this Holy Spirit is moving all over. Had a great season. He's from mid-Tennessee. And hopefully it brings more birds this year. He said, anyways, he said some really encouraging words there. Isaac Axe said he's 16 years old. He said the episode was really encouraging. And I'm not saying this, guys, to toot my horn. I'm just letting you know. I kind of want to give you guys props and say your names on the podcast just for a thank you for saying stuff, okay? He said it was very encouraging to him. He's listened to a lot of different types of speakers. Never before have I ever heard the truth so plainly spoken. Many conservative Californians are too much of a weak, timid sheep. This is coming from a 16-year-old, okay? He says this will be his second year of duck season, and he wanted to leave a verse of encouragement. 2 Timothy 1:7 said, for God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That's one of my favorite scriptures. And he said, keep the faith. Appreciate that, Isaac, for writing in. Scott Subera said, love the show. Keep doing what you do. And he said he's not a fan of the administration himself. And he's not voted in 2 elections. So let me clarify some things. Sometimes I have to go back and listen to myself, things I said because of comments I get. Not that I'm afraid of them or it bothers me. But the reason I go back is because I want to make sure what I said was right and like make sure if someone says something, oh, let me go clarify that. Maybe I said something wrong or whatever. And one person said, and I think it was, and again, he said it was a good episode. He wasn't complaining, and I'll even bring his name up. And I'm not putting him on blast at all. I'm just going to explain myself here for a second. I shouldn't say explain myself. I want to clarify, I guess. He said, Art, again, this comes down to free speech, okay? Art Manriquez said, wow, good talk. I feel the same way as you, but to come out and verbally say you're not going to vote anymore is bad. He goes, that is your right. But what are the effects? One, everyone serving this great country. 2, how many votes did you just influence to do the same thing? Okay, you can only be influenced if you want to. And I understand that I have been an influence on a lot of things in my life growing up, of different things. If you're those that are younger looking up to you, my little brother, my sister, others younger around me, even right now, I'm making content on YouTube, hunting, ethics, all that good stuff, is a influencer. That's what they call influencer. They call people that on Instagram, influencer, all that stuff, kind of stuff. So you do influence people, and I may have influenced you, but I am not going to apologize that because, again, you have to make your own choice, and I am stating what my choice is. I'm not voting anymore. Let me clarify that, though. And I should have added this on in the last one. I'm not voting anymore with the system that they have right now. Right now. I will, however, start voting again when they do it properly. And if that takes them going back to manually counting it one by one. And even then, do I trust it? Like, okay, let me ask you this. We're talking about the President of the United States. I thought about this the other day. We're talking about the President of the United States. You don't have to show your ID. Like I said, I never seen one ID shown at the ballots. That's garbage. You need to be an American citizen. To buy ammo. To buy ammo, I have to show them my passport because my current ID, driver's license of California, it says federal limits apply. So now, even though I have a driver's license, I still got to show my stinking passport to buy a box of ammo. But you're telling me we can vote for the president of the United States without any ID? Come on, wake up, people. And we are awake. A lot of us are awake. This stupid woke thing is a bunch of garbage. The name behind it is right. We need to wake up. Okay? Just like I read there has been white slaves, black slaves, Asian slaves, every color, Indian slaves. That is what mankind has done from the beginning of time. They have sold each other of the same nationality, of the same race and ethnic background. They did that from the beginning of time. Not whites selling blacks or blacks selling Mexicans or Mexicans selling Portuguese, whatever you want to call it. It's wrong. If a white person sells a black person, it's wrong. If a white person sells a white person as a slave. I mean, come on, guys. There is so much, what's that called? I have a word, but I don't really want to use that word. That's gonna drive me nuts. I do this I know I've got to drive you guys nuts when I do that. Well, I'll just go out and say it. Sex slavery. Okay. They go out and they kidnap these girls and put them over and do horrible things. Where is the woke in that? Why aren't the media putting that out and saying, let's help these people? Can you imagine the change that would take place? I never even intended to say none of this, but I didn't get out all of my system on the last episode. And you know what? You guys fired me up that much more. You want to call it preaching, you want to call it whatever you want. But where are those people at when we need them? They don't give a rip about that stuff. And that should tell you the kind of people they are. Why is CNN? Why isn't Fox? And by the way, they're together. Okay? Just because you're liberal and one of you is conservative, don't think for a second that these two media outlets, besides One American News, OAN, that's the only thing I even trust right now. And I don't even watch much of that, but one of the pilots at work always has it on, and they just tell it how it is. And for those of you listening, real quick, or those of you watching, I am taking a swig, and I'm going to be drinking Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew. So I'm about to get more fired up. And this is actually pretty good. You can't get them as a special order deal. Luckily, shout out to Ray, my neighbor. He got some. I'm probably going to have heartburn now. But that's okay. Tastes really good. And it's getting me. It burns going down, I will tell you that. There's definitely some chili powder or something. Actually, I'll tell you right now what it's in it. That's okay. You guys know I'm, what do you call it when you bounce around to different things? Like a squirrel. Just bounce around. It doesn't say, but. It takes like a second and then it starts burning your throat, like literally like cayenne pepper or something. Ooh. Anyways, coming all the way around, I said all that to say this. On the voting thing, you shouldn't be saying nothing. Again, it's free speech. And I know that's not what they're not saying because they said also still support and listen. And I know what you're saying, Art. It's what they want us to do. They want us to lay down like sheep. Well, we already are sheep. And not all of us. But the people, like the mask thing. I know, this is the political side I used to not talk about. But the mask thing, people. Come on. I never put those cotton picking masks on unless they literally about to arrest me. And one of those, and I'm not trying to be a bad example. I'm not trying to be stubborn and stupid. And if it really helped with something, I would do it. But these same people that are saying wear the mask, it will stop the virus, are the ones that supposedly knew there is a cure to cancer, but still to this day have kept it under wraps. That is not lies. That is the truth. That is not propaganda or made up stuff. No. No. But yes, they do want us to lay down like sheep. But look at, if the system is broken, it doesn't matter. We still will fight. We will still stand up for truth. You don't have to slap a mask on your face because they tell you to, because by Constitution, they can't do that. If they choose not to serve you when you walk into the gas station, the grocery store, or wherever because you're wearing a mask, I walk out. And it's not so much anymore. I was really surprised. We went through Nevada the other day, and I couldn't believe how bad it was still. California's not even like that. But, through this whole thing, the only time I've ever worn a mask is on the plane, not even through the airport, on the plane, because that's what they said, even though they make us stand 6 feet apart without masks in the airport to get in line. But then we can sit on top of each other, but we got to wear a mask now. And then when we walk through a restaurant, we need to have masks on, but take them off when you eat because, COVID doesn't float around. It just stays at your table. I know I'm not the only one that sees this. I know you guys dealt with this too. It's just, if you don't see it, I'm trying to enlighten you. Think about it. You are not a hero by wearing a mask. People trying to badger people, bully people into wearing a mask, bully people and make them and lay guilt trips on them. I called this before it ever happened. Amongst my friends saying, you watch, mark my words, before they did all this stuff, I said they are going to make it mandatory. I said the reason being because they never told nobody to wear masks, but people started doing it. Then they realized, oh, well, everybody's doing it. Now we're just going to make it mandatory. And then everybody's going to fall right in the track. And what do you think happened? And then there was a little window there. I don't know if anybody remembers it. This was last year, the beginning of last year. They came out and said, oh, masks don't do nothing. It was like the next day I went into Save Mart and nobody was wearing masks. And I was like, finally, it's good. This is over. It had only been like a month. And then, man, when it came back worse and it never changed until recently. So, you want to wear a mask on your face? Go for it. I don't care. But do it because you want to, not because someone told you it's going to save lives. Why don't you do some research and see if it does? I see the medical field. I see what's going on. I see things that most don't. All they're basing it off of is what people are telling you. Don't just take everything someone tells you. Find out for yourself. It's a perfect parallel to people that guess what the Bible says. Okay? People look at the Bible and say, well, so-and-so, they do this at their church and they do this at their church. Why don't you look at the book and see what it says for yourself? Because what they may be saying may not be right. People want to judge people. They don't want to judge the Word of God because no one wants to do that, right? All I try to do is grab the Bible and live by it. I don't try to throw it off anybody else. I don't try to tell anybody else what I think because it doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what the main book says. And that being said, what does the Constitution say? I don't care what Joe Biden says. I don't care what Bill Clinton says. I don't care what George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr., what Trump says, okay? And you're saying, well, how are you lumping those guys all together? Because they're all just men. And their duty is to do what the Constitution says, and they don't do it. And, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And right now, it's unconstitutional what is going on. So, back to the voting. That is me. Because until they fix the system, I'm not going to anymore. And I'll say that again. Not trying to tell you, you do what you think is right. Don't do it because Ty said so. I hope you're not that shallow. Really. I mean, I'm having 16-year-olds email me about stuff that sounds like a lot smarter than a lot of 30 and 40 and 50-year-olds are. So, anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that. Now let me go into something else. I already covered that. I talked about the sub thing. Let me play a clip for you, okay? I do care, but I believe that an embryo in a woman is a child, is a living human organism. It is a live being. And no matter what stage of the pregnancy, it is abortion and it is wrong. Okay? You may believe however you believe. That is your decision. Okay? Stay with me. All we've ever heard from the other side of the table is free choice for the woman. The woman should have the free choice of what she wants to do. She does. She does. I mean, I wish you could make it where it wasn't legal to do that, to be honest with you. But there's millions and millions and billions of dollars in it. That is why it's not illegal to commit murder. Okay? Now, I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, so listen to this. Let me play this clip. Again, just one little clip that I didn't finish with Gavin Newsom talking about this exact issue.
We said yes to women's fundamental constitutional right to decide for herself what she does with her body, her faith and future.
What is he speaking to right there? I'll tell you what he's speaking of. He's speaking of abortion. He said, we're saying yes to the women's fundamental constitutional right to do what she wants with her body. And I thought, wow, what a stinking hypocrite. You're an idiot. Like, you're a literal idiot. You're getting up here. Nobody likes you. They're trying to recall you. You say, we said yes to women's rights. Da, 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 da. And I'm in my brain, I'm thinking, hold up on a second. While you're saying that throughout the other side of your mouth, you're saying we don't have a choice. Who sticks us with the vaccine that we have no clue what is in that? None. And we don't have a free choice there. So women, you're segregating women that they have a choice to kill a baby, to kill a human life if they want to or want not. That's what we said yes for. We didn't say yes for that. But on the other hand, you need to have the vaccine. It needs to be mandatory. We can't be it's insane. This is the exact stuff I'm talking about. Do your research. I'm sure there's plenty of you on this podcast that have got the vaccine. That's your choice. It's your body. That's what you want to do. I'm not going to put you down. I'm not going to think ill of you. You did what you did. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But for him to say the woman needs to have choice, do you see the hypocrisy? That's what I'm trying to bring to light. These politicians don't care about you. They don't care about me. All they care about is money and power. That's what they care about. They get a high out of making new laws and slamming on people and bossing people and being a dictator of a people. So think about that next time. Think about that. I've seen 10,000 people have died from the vaccine, and it's growing every day. Growing every day. So that's another part of this I wanted to get out. Drink up, get all fired up, drinking my flaming hot Mountain Dew. Covering some things that I didn't get to finish on the last one. And make a big announcement. And I need to write that down so I don't forget to put that in the description. And that announcement is, I have talked to a few people about coming on and being kind of a host with me, like a co-host with me. So be prepared, guys. It's going to be good. Really good. Don't worry if you're waterfowlers, like I know most of you are, a lot of you are. The duck content is coming. We just did a podcast yesterday with some waterfowl stuff that just went down stay tuned. Some hunts have been happening. Can't wait to get those out and also do the recaps basically on the podcast. And so the big announcement is I want to bring more to the table. I want to get more out. You guys, like, really was a tight race between 2 and 3 episodes a week. I appreciate that. And that was a resounding yes for 2 to 3 a week between Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I did it all in there, and it was like 2-3 times a week. Like, it was like a tight race between all that. So that's what we're going to do. So in order to do that, I need to bring more people into it. Yes, I will be here on every episode, but I don't want to wear anybody out, making them come over to the house and doing the podcast all the time, 2-3 times a week. So in order to do that, I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring on some people that I really think you guys would enjoy, that are going to be a big part of the political side and some other sides of things. And that is, one of them is my dad, Larry Headings. He's been on here before. He has brought me up to born and raised to hunt, to fish, to speak truth, to live right. And he's going to be a big part of the political. He knows a lot more stuff about that I do. My dad is pretty kind of more of a serious person. I get a little bit of that from him, but he's very passionate about it. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to get people to really let go on podcasts because it's kind of new to them and it's foreign to them. So they're not really totally themselves on here. This is how I am. This is who I am. But I think doing them enough, I think my dad will really be a pivotal part of this podcast and help a lot. And then second person is, so Travis and Thomas will still be part of it with the waterfowl stuff, with hunting stuff. My dad will be political stuff and hunting stuff because he's a big game guy. And Michael Catano, remember that name? He is coming on here. In fact, I think he's coming over this afternoon. We're going to record some more. Has some powerful stuff that he's been sharing with me. I asked him, I said, dude, do you want to be part of this? I want you to be part of this. But do you want to be part of it? And I said, not just to help me out, because you want to, not because you want to help. And he said, no, I do want to help, and I do want to do it. Like, that interests me. And he said, if you don't like me, you can fire me. I said, Michael, trust me, we ain't going to fire you. So Michael knows a ton. Michael brings a lot of comedy. We'll bring a lot of comedy. You guys, I think, will get a good laugh at him. He makes me laugh. He laughs. The side that I lack in as far as comedy goes, he'll bring it in. He also has a lot of knowledge. Michael's very smart. He's married to my wife's sister, and he's a father. He has 2 little girls, and he lives in the same town that I do. Michael just got into waterfowl hunting last year. In fact, you've seen him on one of the episodes if you've listened for over a year about just starting and getting into waterfowl hunting. He also does voices and accents like to the T. So he's going to bring all that stuff into this. He's going to be a really big part of it. I think guys are going to really enjoy him being a big part of this podcast. So just Thomas, Travis, Michael, and my dad. They're going to be, Michael and my dad are 2 new add-ons to the podcast to really broaden the spectrum of this podcast. Trust me, we're still going to have plenty of waterfowl content, if not more. Don't worry. This is not going to just be a political podcast. Don't worry about that. That's not what I live and breathe for. I promise you that. It's for hunting. So that being said, I think that is all I wanted to get out. I wanted to make that announcement to you, say the other things that I wanted to say, and get ready. Get ready. Content's coming. Again, last up, if another thing you can do, if you can go on iTunes, rate and review this podcast, let us know what you think. And also go subscribe on the MVM Show YouTube channel and turn notifications on or off or whatever you want to do. It just will help us out, start getting a little bit of money for doing this podcast. We thank you guys for it. We'll see you on the next one.